There's loads of things going around at the moment, including a big clash with Canelo Alvarez. Can you tell us what's going on in that situation, and can that happen next?
We shall see. Who knows?
That smile's telling me something else, bro. I think it might be on the line, no?
Just saying, man. We can't.
Oh, I feel like Canelo, he don't have nobody to fight no more. Like, who would you really want to see him fight besides Crawford? Nobody. There's nobody else.
My opinion is my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't think Crawford can beat Canelo. But still, do I think he can give him a good fight? And I'll be sitting there rooting for Crawford all day. I'm put all my money. I'm always going to bet on black, always.
Terence Crawford has finally spoken out about his potential fight with Canelo Alvarez. Could 2025 bring the long-awaited dream fight between Canelo and Crawford? Rumors are circulating that this clash might happen during Canelo's signature Cinco de Mayo weekend in May. Ruben Carter tweeted on X, sharing the breaking news that Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford is officially set for May 2025. Additionally, renowned trainer Robert Garcia mentioned to Fight Hype just before Christmas that he had heard rumors of a possible Canelo-Crawford showdown on that date, fueling further speculation. Recently, World Boxing News reported that Crawford is on Canelo's shortlist of potential opponents for May. The event might take place in Las Vegas, but nothing is confirmed yet. However, when it comes to influence, few things matter more than money, and Al Haymon knows how to make offers that fighters can't refuse with huge sums of money that can change everything. Al is well known for making big matchups happen, and now his goal is to make Canelo versus Crawford a reality.
To be honest with you, Crawford he's one of the best technical fighters I've ever seen. But, when he went to 154, I'm not saying he had problems, but he kind of looked like he didn't have the power that he had at 147. And he still had to come up two or three weight classes. You know what I mean? But, I don't know. Crawford, bro, he's like a one-of-a-kind fighter, you know what I mean? Especially since if he knows he's going up to 168, he'll probably bulk up. But I think the weight classes have to be respected. I feel like Canelo, he's a more natural super middleweight. And if he's going against Canelo, his first fight being at 168, it's kind of already, he has a lot of disadvantages against him. So I feel like Canelo to win.
The idea of a fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford has excited boxing fans worldwide. After his impressive victory over Errol Spence Jr., Crawford has expressed his eagerness to fight the Mexican super middleweight champion. Crawford, often considered the best pound-for-pound boxer in the world, is preparing for a big challenge by moving up 2 weight divisions to face Canelo. However, the path to this historic fight will not be easy. Former super middleweight world champion Demetrius Andrade shared his thoughts on this much-anticipated bout. "I love Crawford. He's a good friend. We've traveled the world together through the amateur program. I've seen him win, and he's seen me win, but when it comes to weight and power, that's a real challenge," Andrade said in an interview with Fight Hub TV. Although Andrade recognizes Crawford's extraordinary skills, he believes Canelo's size and vast experience in higher weight classes give him a clear advantage. Andrade said, "Canelo is a big, strong fighter. He knows how to move and defend, and he can take shots. I think Crawford has the skills, but it's going to be tough for him. I don't think Crawford can beat Canelo, but I think he can still put up a good fight. I'll be rooting for Canelo all day." A potential Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford fight is shaping up to be a historic event in boxing. As undisputed champions in their respective weight classes, these two fighters bring unique styles and huge fan bases to the table. This fight could become an unforgettable battle and a key moment in both boxers' careers, cementing their legacies in the sport's history. While Demetrius Andrade respects Crawford's talents and their shared history, he believes that stepping up 2 weight divisions to face Canelo presents too many challenges. Andrade thinks Crawford can compete but doesn't believe he can match Canelo's size, strength, and speed. It seems unlikely that Crawford will have the chance to end his career with a fight against Canelo Alvarez, but this potential matchup is sure to be one for the history books.
In reality of it, I just think Canelo knows how to fight. He knows how to come in big, and he can throw hard shots. He's a technical guy too. Look what he did to Callum Smith, hitting elbows, hitting arms, hitting all this other stuff. He's going to use those same type of tactics on the smaller guy. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just talking real boxing facts. I'm not trying to be in this fantasy world because it's not what I'm in.
Are you going to continue to stay at 168 pounds?
Yeah, 168 pounds is a good weight class. I think there's a lot of great fights. Just the guys I mentioned are all in 168 pound weight class. I think there's nothing for me at 160, nor do I want to even try to make that weight anymore. I outgrown it. Like I'm big now. You know, we all get older. We don't.
Predictions continue to surface about the potential fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Despite being in different weight classes, the idea of a showdown between these two fighters is gaining momentum, with both looking for opponents for spring 2025. Alvarez's last fight was in September, where he successfully defended his WBC, WBA, and WBO super middleweight titles, defeating Edgar Berlanga by unanimous decision. A month earlier, Crawford had made his debut at 154 lbs, winning the WBA super welterweight title by defeating Israel Madrimov. Many believe that adding another 14 pounds to reach the super middleweight limit could be a significant challenge. For Crawford, making the potential fight with Alvarez seemed difficult for the Nebraska native. Tim Bradley, a former two-weight world champion and current boxing analyst, shared his thoughts in a video on his YouTube channel. After carefully studying both fighters, Bradley predicted a dominant win for Crawford. He said, "I woke up at 3 a.m. and something told me to study both Canelo and Crawford. Crawford is going to beat the brakes off of Canelo Alvarez." A win for Crawford would be a huge achievement, further elevating his already impressive legacy, which includes undisputed titles in both the super lightweight and welterweight divisions. However, Canelo is still considered the favorite, and he has summarized his reasons for believing he will win in just 5 words, despite the excitement and growing anticipation from fans. The proposed fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford may remain a fantasy. Eddie Hearn, head of Matchroom Boxing and a longtime ally of Canelo, recently discussed his talks with the Mexican champion about the potential bout, and the outlook doesn't seem promising. You may remember that Saudi royal Alec had been advocating for the matchup during Crawford's fight with Israel Madrimov last year, urging Hearn to contact Canelo's team to make the fight happen. Despite these efforts, the fight never materialized and discussions have since faded. Hearn appeared in an interview with Fight Hype and shared his honest opinion. He said, "I'd be very surprised if that fight happens. I think Alec has been pushing for it, but it didn't seem like something Canelo was really interested in." Hearn recalled his previous conversation with Canelo, explaining that Canelo felt that beating Crawford, who fights at 154 lbs, wouldn't add much to his legacy. At this stage in Canelo's career, he is looking for opponents who are willing to engage and press the action, something he feels Crawford is less likely to do. Crawford would be making a significant leap in weight for this fight, putting him at a clear disadvantage. Even if Crawford manages to reach 165 lbs, Canelo would still hold a size advantage. To win, Crawford would need to rely on his agility and footwork. Hearn also pointed out that Crawford would be at a huge size disadvantage and wouldn't be able to truly compete at the super middleweight level. He reiterated, "I don't think that fight will happen." Despite this sobering reality, fans continue to express their hopes for the fight, and rumors are still circulating. In late 2024, speculation about a possible fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford spread rapidly on the internet. Though details remain unconfirmed, boxing outlets have been buzzing about the potential clash. A video posted by ES News addressed the rumors and traced their origins, with boxing expert and founder of ES News, Eli Sekbach, admitting he couldn't find a reliable source for the information. Still, he didn't dismiss the possibility, suggesting that the rumored $250 million payday could influence Canelo's decision to take on Crawford. Canelo, who has rejected the idea of fighting Crawford multiple times due to their weight differences, seemed to change his stance in a recent interview on Sway's Universe. The 34-year-old Mexican boxer said, "If the money's right, I'm in. I don't like to fight guys like Crawford. He moves a lot, and the fight isn't that exciting. But after watching his last fight, I feel like he doesn't move as much. So if the money is right, I'm in." Crawford, who made the leap from 147 lbs to 154 lbs in 2024, stepped into the light middleweight division and defeated Israel Madrimov to win the WBA super welterweight title. Despite the less-than-dominant performance, Canelo might be considering the fight, especially if the financial terms are appealing. However, the road ahead isn't simple. Crawford, who is undefeated with a 40-0 record, would still need to move. Up 2 more weight classes to compete at Canelo's level unless both sides agree on a catchweight.
Anymore, but you know, like he say, you know, when they ask him for the Germonta fight, they don't wanna get credit for that fight. It's the same for me. I don't need to take that fight because then everybody's gonna say it's too small, it's too small, it's too small, and then, you know, he need to enjoy his fight.
Okay,
He deserve it. He deserve it. I like Spence, but you know, I like Spence and all the respect for him and everything. But I knew. I think is the type of fight Terence Crawford is different. 168, but like I say, like he say, nobody's gonna give me credit for that.
No one could have predicted that Terence Crawford's underwhelming performance would influence Canelo Alvarez's decision and potentially open the door for Crawford to finally get the chance he's been waiting for. However, the path to this fight is far from easy. The undefeated Crawford, with a perfect 40-0 record, still has to move up 2 weight classes to match Canelo's size unless both sides agree on a catchweight. Crawford is determined to prove his greatness by facing Canelo, despite having last fought in the super welterweight division. He's eager to move up to super middleweight and add another 14 pounds to challenge Canelo. His goal is to become just the 3rd fighter to defeat Canelo in nearly 70 career bouts, joining Floyd Mayweather and Dimitri Bivol. Initially, Canelo seemed indifferent to the idea, but he is now warming up to the matchup, saying that he'd accept it if the financial terms are favorable. With Crawford receiving support from Saudi Arabia's Riyadh season, the possibility of the fight has never seemed more real. If the fight does happen, 3-weight world champion and Hall of Famer James Toney is eager to get involved. In an interview with Mill City Boxing, Toney, a veteran with 92 career fights and an unblemished record against stoppages like Canelo, shared his belief that he could teach Crawford how to win by knockout. He added, "It would be huge if that fight happens. I would go back into camp with Crawford and show him how to do it for real. If Crawford can't help himself, I'll make sure it gets done. Canelo can be knocked out. He's not all that. He's not James Toney. He's not in my league." Toney has been outspoken in his criticism of Canelo, especially when comparing Canelo's achievements to his own as a super middleweight. Meanwhile, Crawford continues to build on his impressive legacy, though he knows the challenge ahead is significant. While Jake Paul has also pushed for a fight with Canelo, it's the potential showdown between Canelo and Crawford that has boxing fans on the edge of their seats. Although rumors have emerged about a possible bout, they fizzled out in the past. Crawford, who hails from Nebraska, still holds on to the hope of fighting the Mexican boxing legend. In the midst of this ongoing saga, professional boxer Alexis Roacha, who has sparred with both Canelo and Crawford, weighed in with his prediction for the potential fight. Roacha, who sparred with Canelo during his high school years, explained how the 2 fighters performed in sparring. He recalled, "Canelo went easy on me since I was only 17, but there were times when he went hard, and I felt those shots." He added that Crawford, while at a size disadvantage compared to Canelo, has great reach and boxing IQ. Rocha believes Crawford will hold his own, but still thinks Canelo's experience against larger opponents will give him the edge. Former pound-for-pound champion Andre Ward also weighed in, offering his prediction for the fight. Despite Crawford's weight jump, Ward is confident that Crawford would win, saying, "I'm going with Terence Crawford. Big weight jump, dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will." Ward added that he isn't betting against Crawford right now, regardless of the opponent. Even with Canelo Alvarez's legendary status, experts are divided on who would win if the fight were to take place. The only way to answer that question is if the fight actually happens. However, given the current circumstances, it seems increasingly unlikely. Meanwhile, when discussing how Crawford might fare against Canelo on the Come and Talk to Me podcast, boxing legend Mike Tyson summed it up in 3 words: too much weight. Tyson explained that he didn't like the idea of Crawford facing Canelo after his recent fight with Madoff, where he pointed out that Crawford struggled with the size and awkward style of his opponent. Tyson added that Crawford shouldn't have taken that fight in the first place.
Think about Terence Crawford calling out Canelo.
You know, I don't like that fight.
Why not?
I don't like that fight. It's just too much weight. You know, and he had a close fight with the last guy he fought, Terence, because this guy was big and he was awkward. He was really awkward. He shouldn't have fought that guy. He should have fought a guy that was just come straight at him. The guy was too awkward.
He's herky jerky. Yeah.
In a surprising turn of events, Canelo Alvarez has hinted at being ready to take on Terence Crawford, fueling excitement for what could be one of boxing's most anticipated matchups. This potential fight promises to feature two of the sport's best, each at the peak of their abilities. Canelo, the undisputed super middleweight champion, has dominated his weight class with his raw power and pinpoint precision. On the other hand, Crawford, known for his exceptional technique, combines skill with a brilliant boxing mind, which has earned him the top spot in the pound-for-pound rankings. In an interview on Sway's Universe, Canelo expressed his willingness to face Crawford, saying, "I'm in, why not? Don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter, but for me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight, easy money." This statement marks a significant shift for Canelo, who had previously hesitated to fight Crawford, believing that defeating a smaller fighter wouldn't give him the recognition he deserved. In contrast, Crawford has remained determined to fight Canelo, even agreeing to move up 2 weight divisions to prove his supremacy. While Crawford is aware of the size advantage Canelo has, he remains confident in his ability to overcome this, challenged with his unique boxing style. Some analysts have questioned whether Crawford can perform well in the super middleweight division, especially after his most recent win over Israel Madrimov in the super welterweight class. Though Crawford secured a points win, many expected a more dominant performance. Despite the doubts, the possibility of a fight between Canelo and Crawford has sparked excitement in the boxing world, as fans eagerly anticipate a battle filled with power, speed, technique, and undeniable charisma. This potential clash promises to be a spectacle to remember.
See, he wants to fight. He's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better. No, Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He's a good fighter, but you know, like I say, he's a weight classes for a reason. I'm focused 100% on Berlanga, and you never know what happened.
Yeah.
With the possibility of a major fight against super middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez still on the horizon, Terence Crawford is eager to prove his critics wrong. Crawford became a 4-division world champion by defeating the tough Uzbek fighter Israel Madrimov, earning the WBA super welterweight title in August. This victory, a unanimous decision, came just over a year after Crawford's monumental win against Errol Spence Jr., where he secured his 41st professional victory with a brutal 9th-round barrage that forced Spence to submit. Despite his success, Crawford has been vocal about wanting a chance to face Canelo even before his win over Madrimov, in hopes of further enhancing his already impressive career. Crawford recently shared on X, "I've been doubted my whole career, and some still doubt me now. I love it." It seems Crawford has always been the one pushing for the fight, and he continues to hold out hope that a lucrative showdown with Canelo will happen.